speak with an educationist, Mr. Nii Armah. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you for speaking with us on tonight's show of Behind the Headlines.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Good. Sir, let's go straight to the topic of the day. I want to find out your impressions on the president's address on matters relating to education.
I think the announcement can now put issues to rest, because before then there was a lot of anxiety as to when school will reopen, and nobody seemed to have any clue as to what it is. So I think this announcement gives a definitive date to what is next, and therefore various universities can plan the academic calendar.
All right. Moving forward, but sir, you realize also that there are some agitations from the student leaders. For example, that of the University of Ghana right here, the acting SRC president, Mr. Fianco, believes that universities can reopen, and the president also makes reference to the COVID-19 science and data, which shows that there's a low affection rate. I want to find out from you, do you think schools could have reopened for in-person learning or considered a double track system whereby we could prevent the large number of students from congregating on the campuses?
I think you've asked a lot of questions in one, so we'll have to unpack them and then repack them.
Well noted.
So one, if the SRC president says something and the president of the country also says something, I mean, SRC president can make his views, just like I can make my views. I mean, the president has the ultimate decision. Of course, he would have to listen to what the people would say and put into consideration. So that whatever science and data or science and figures or whatever they call it that has informed the decision for reopening in January, we don't know, but we know that there ought to be situational analysis that ought to be made. So, like I said, we have January now, which can help in planning. So that's one. That's one. Unless tomorrow the president comes back again and says he has changed the decision that he made, then that will become another subject of discussion. But for now, we have January. So let's all work towards January. That's one. Two, you're talking about free SHS and number of students that are coming and all that. Okay, it's also another speculation, because then we do not know the number of students that are going to pass, at what percentage. I mean, there have been instances where students' pass rate has been 20% of those who enter the exam. Okay, so and there are instances where even students' pass rate has been, usually the pass rate has been between 20 and, if you like, 30%. The highest we can anticipate is 40%. So if you have 40% pass rate of, or even 45, even let's take it to the maximum, 50, which we hardly achieve, let's take it to 50. 50% of that number will give us what? It means you are talking of an excess of maybe 40 to 50,000 students. And 40 to 50,000 students excess. If we will not play politics with that, then I would expect that the private universities will be able to absorb that 50%, that 50,000 students extra that may come on. That is if the pass rate is at 50%. But if we see a pass rate like it's been in previous years before, then there's no worry. Okay, so that if we ensure the normal enrollment rates in our public universities, not to do the evening, the morning, evening, afternoon, and dawn as some people are anticipating, but we go by the normal stream that the university runs, then the private universities should also take part of the students. And of course, it should be rightly so, because then private universities are also in existence to help in the development of the human resource capital. So we shouldn't close our minds to that. And then to the calendar, we all know that a lot of schools run double double admission in the year. Some go in the summer, which is July, August, and others enroll in January. So if our new academic year is going to start in January, I think then that it doesn't spoil anything. Or probably what we'll do is that then when we start in January, we're going to have shorter vacations and then more hours added, so that in the following year we'll be able to come back to normalcy. That is, in the COVID situation gets better. Okay, so in all these, it depends on who are sitting on a table and who are reasoning through the issues. But there are no things out of the ordinary.
Yeah, but I think the regional director for UNICEF, that is in the Eastern and Southern Africa, Mohammed Malik Fall, also has warned that missing school could trigger a lost generation due to the prolonged absence from school. And you saying that the calendar, even if it going to January, wouldn't change anything. Don't you
Please
agree?
kindly come again. You are a little low, so I could.
Okay, I'm saying that the regional director for UNICEF, that is in the Eastern and Southern African region, that is Mohammed Malik Fall, also has warned that missing school could at least trigger a lost generation due to the prolonged absence from school. And I'm asking, since you're saying that whether we start the school reopening of the new academic year in January, wouldn't it have any implications to what he's saying by lost generation?
I'm really struggling to get your question. I don't know why. Is it a network or something?
Can you hear me?
Pick up.
Okay. Can you hear me clearly?
Pick up a bit so I can
All
hear
right.
you, please.
All right. The question I'm asking is, the regional director for UNICEF, that is in the Eastern and Southern Africa, Mohammed Malik Fall, has warned that the missing school could trigger a lost generation due to the prolonged absence from school. And since you're saying that there's nothing wrong with the reopening of schools in January, I want to find out if it really falls in line with maybe what Malik Ford has been saying, that there's going to be a lost generation, abundant of people who not probably, best way to say, wouldn't have known some things which they would have been taught in school.
Okay, I don't know what Malik is basing his fact on, but what I'm saying simply is that when there are situational problems, then you may have to make provision for solutions that meet situational problems. And again, I made a point that a lot of schools, even in the West, in the West, as in developed countries in Europe and in America, enrolls in January and then in July, August. Okay? So it is a cyclical thing. And I'm saying that if the situation pushes us to start our new academic year in January instead of in August, then what it means is that between January and August, when the new academic year will begin, it means that we're going to have a shorter vacation, more hours spent in school, and shorter vacations so that we can make up for the time that is lost. Okay, so it can be worked out. But once we are done, the question we have to ask ourselves is, what became of the online studies that the university touted so much, for which some of us said that the infrastructure facilities and other things are not there, and therefore that cannot be effective. What became of that? What has that come to? Why couldn't we continue? Were there more problems that were realized, which we said it? And that takes us to what our plan looking into the future should be. Because now we are talking about, again, in the same president's address, he's talking about a spread now in tens, no longer in hundreds and in thousands, but in tens. Will that make us go back to sleep and leave our education as it is? Or will still keep our eye widely open to invest into online learning systems so that we can continue and not lose time as it's likely to be now? Because schools in developed countries are doing online, awaiting the system, the COVID situation to normalize so that they return to campus. So they are not losing time in essence, but we are going to lose time, as Mohammed said, or as you referred to. So that takes us to educational infrastructure. how much we invest into ICT development for tertiary education or for higher education. And I think that is something that we should not go back to sleep on.
Okay. But Mr. Nii Armah, before you take leave of us, let's look at this issue pertaining to school fees. There has been some concerns about increment of school fees. I want to find out from you as an educationist, what cushion should students be getting in this pandemic period? And is
increment of what, fees?
Yes, school fees.
Oh, I said it before that look, when you went online, when the universities went online, I said before, and I maintain that the fees that were charged should have been reduced because the cost of online studies is not the same as the cost of campus-based studies all over the world. That is what it is. Online studies are cheaper. Okay, so granted that the previous semester had to end up in an online mode, or a full semester was carried in online mode and all that, then it means that something must be done with the fees. And if we are going back, if schools are going back to are we going back to full-time campus mode? If that is what it is, then of course we go back to the status quo. But if it's not going to be the same, then of course we have to work into the financials again. Okay, but whatever it is, education, it's a public good. And if it is a public good, it means that it goes a long way to help in the development of the country. So it should be affordable. It should be affordable. Right. And affordability means that what are the income levels and how much can parents invest into payment of fees.
Okay, so I'm grateful for you speaking with us here on Radio Universe.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
You're welcome. So just going by was the educationist, a good friend here at Radio University, Mr. Nii Armah, who spoke extensively on the issues pertaining to reopening of tertiary institutions. He made his point well known.